We're gonna talk about this is a personal testimony, dude. The Lord's put this on my heart. Father God, I lift this up to you. Crucified flesh, walk in the spirit. I declare and decree Psalm 1 over this video. Jesus Christ, my name. Anoint this word, get me out of the way, help me cover everything that's pertinent in Jesus Christ, my name. First, I gotta preface this. When I was in the first year of my business in 2020, I landed all kinds of big contracts right away. It just boomed for me. It was the year of COVID. COVID came out, and we did a lot of uh, COVID cleanup. We would go out, we would clean up Airbnbs after they come in. We would clean up. You're bugging me. Why don't you say who you are? How do I boot you? Say who you are. What's up with that? The heck? How do you get to be just invisible? How do you do that? You can just hang out on my stuff, and I can see everybody, but not you. All viewers one, but you're invisible. Like you're keeping the list for everybody. That's what you're doing. You're writing a list on everybody. New World Order garbage. You're gonna burn in a lake of fire. Thus saith the Lord. That's what you're going to the lake of fire. How do you feel knowing that like you got it stamped on your back? I'm going to the lake of fire. I'm not here. If you're not, say Jesus Christ came in the flesh. I'm not going. This is my name. This is where I'm at. You're going to the lake of fire. You suck, dude. You suck. All right, we're gonna watch this. In the first year of my business, we were doing a lot of COVID cleanup. We went in, we cleaned up Airbnbs afterwards. Everybody's freaking out. Global pandemic. Okay. I went in. If you can see this, it was back in 2020. I was connected with this guy. I forget how I met him. He was with, this is the guy here. His name is Joe Saginski with J&B Sales. And this guy, oh my gosh, he's a dirtbag, dude. The guy's an awful person. Now, keep in mind, I have a serious bone to pick with this guy. I'm going to tell just the facts of everything that happened so that, we can keep that separate or whatever. He had a couple guys that were working on this. One guy that works for him, I don't see him on this list. He's a nice guy, though. His like right hand man was actually a decent guy. But this guy was the president of the company, and he owns a ranch, a cattle ranch in Cornville. He sold me a cow, and I bought a full cow, and it was the worst meat I've ever had in my life. It was like rancid meat. I don't know what they did. I didn't even eat the cow. 1,600, almost $1,700 worth of beef we had to throw out, an entire cow, and it was supposedly raised on his ranch. His ranch now is called Lazy 5S Ranch. They probably had to change the name because he was such a horrible, I guess horrible to do to somebody. Stiff him for $1,700. When I complained about it, he was like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Whatever." The butcher was a real turd up there too. The guy was like, but the butcher's like right hand man was actually a good kid too. He was like trying to get his life together and stuff like that. He was a nephew or something like that. And he was a nice kid. And so, whatever. That being said, I'm only prefacing this to let you know like what happened. He sold me a bad cow. I lost like $1,700. We didn't eat any of it. He told me to pound sand when I complained about it. I said, "Can you replace this cow? I mean, dude, this is like," he said, "Pound sand. What do you want me to do about it?" I even offered to bring him some of the meat to have him to eat it. It was terrible meat. It tastes like it hung in a cellar next to like a gut shot elk or something. It was nasty. It was the worst beef I've ever had. I was very upset after that. I believe this guy. He looks like a Freemason. He was affiliated with the Calvary Church somewhere in like New River, I believe. And if it's Calvary Church, most Calvary churches are Freemasons. Okay, he looks like a Freemason. He's like city slicker, and he goes up, on the weekends to his cattle ranch or whatever that he's real proud of that, has terrible beef. Okay. That being said, before all this happened, I was cleaning uh, COVID decontamination. I had all the equipment for it. We bought it. We weren't afraid of COVID, so it was like actually a really good thing for us. We went in, and this guy was selling chemicals. I think that's how I met him, through J&B Sales. I think that's how I met him. And he was pushing a new COVID decontamination treatment. And he was hyping it up. They had the sales guy come out, and it was like this whole COVID decontamination thing. But what was weird about it was like you could spray it on a surface, and it would last for like 3 to 6 months. And the way they described it was like it had little spikes on it. We didn't know what the technology was back then. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea, dude. This was like 2020, before we even knew about nanotech, before we knew about all of this stuff. And this guy, this Joe Saginski guy, throwing caution to the wind, was trying to push this stuff through EPA approval. He wanted to put it in the water systems in the United States. He wanted to put it in the water systems inside of all the city water. He wanted to run it through. Now, the way this stuff works is you had to do it with a fogger, and what it was like called a bioshield. Straight up, this is nanotechnology, dude. I just went down the rabbit hole because I was like, the way it happened was I was going to use that stuff. He didn't really explain it well in the sales pitch. They're like, yeah, it's just an antimicrobial. It just has a long, efficacy or whatever. It's on a surface for a long period of time. It works great. And I was like, well, yeah, that sounds legit. Like, cool. Let's use this stuff. He had the exclusive rights for the Southwest. This guy did. And it was something called BioShield, I believe. That's what its name was. I looked it up. That's exactly what I found on ChatGPT, and we'll go into that in a minute. But what he was doing in 2020 was he was using it on his ranch. He was spraying it on. Now, this is what the guy was saying. He's like, you could spray it on anything. You could spray it on cow crap, and the cow crap is disinfected. And my wife was the one that kind of was like, hey, what's going on with this? But I was like, well, this stuff sounds great. You can disinfect cow crap. It's like vaporize. You ever seen Envy? It's like vaporize with Envy. Jack Black and what is his name? Ben whatever. It's like, you can spray it on cat crap. It'll disinfect the cat crap. So that was this guy, and you hear him partying out here. It's like 11 o'clock tonight. That's it. Get all liquored up. Go to the donkey show. All right. So he was pushing this product. Here, let's look at his company. So these are his family members, all of this stuff, right? Or that are it's like he's the president of the company, J&B Sales. Okay. Sure, the guy's Freemason. Sure of it. I didn't do a background check on him. So I go in, and he pitched the thing for me. He said, yeah, it's approval. It's approved by the EPA. We're good to go. It's industry standard, all this other stuff. They were saying you could spray it on kennels, on all kinds of stuff. And I was looking at using this product to go into vet clinics, to go. My wife was moving up in her corporate ladder at her veterinary clinic at that time. This was like before COVID and right around the beginning of COVID. Is like right when I met this guy and I was looking into this stuff. And I was thinking, well, yeah, we could go spray these kennels. I could get contracts and do all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And they gave me the little sales pitch. They showed me what it does. They said it sprays a shield on stuff, and then it leaves on it makes a surface, and this surface lasts for like 6 months, is what they were saying. But normally it's like 3 months on the treatment. And he was saying that he was trying to get it approved through the EPA so that they could put it in the water system to fight what is it, Legionellas? I think that Legionnaire's disease, the mold that gets in water. He was talking about how deadly that is, and he's like, "Yeah, no, it's safe. It's totally safe. It's you can spray it on your food and eat it." That's what this guy was saying. He was pushing this product, so I took it. I did a test run at a house. We did air duct cleaning, and we decontaminated a house. We asked the client. We said yes, it's approved by the EPA. Everything else, they signed off on it. We did a test run, and that test run, I got a little bit on my skin, like right here, and it burned. And I was like, whoa, this is kind of weird, man. And I was like, I had this weird feeling in my stomach, and I prayed on it a lot. I'm like, I don't. And then my wife was like, I'm like, what do you think is going on here? Because I don't know that God's, and I wasn't hearing as clearly from God at that time. I was like, what's going on here? Why is this? What he kept checking me. He kept pumping the brakes on me, and I'm like, and because I was balling, and I could have made a lot of money doing this, dude. I could have made a lot of money. This guy gave me basically, dude. He gave me the price at like retail or wholesale. He was giving me he gave me wholesale price on that product to move the product because I was connected with all the guys in the industry in Phoenix at that time. I could have gotten it in every single truck mount. We could have been doing this on everybody that did decontam. It was like a whole break in that market, right? And the Lord checked me on it, and He pulled me out of it, and it was like something's not right. And then He sold me the bad cow, and it was like that was it, that was over, right? So now, fast forward 2026. This is 2020. I prayed, and the Lord was saying that it's some type of nanotechnology, and that they're using it on everything. And so I go down the rabbit hole. This guy got put on my heart again. I started thinking about him again for some reason. And it was this whole thing. I started remembering all this. And as soon as it got sprayed on my skin and it kind of burned, I went and told him. And he didn't give a crap, dude. I was like, dude, I sprayed this on my skin. Like, what do we know are the effects of this? Like, is this dangerous? Like, what do you... He's like, I don't know. No, the EPA approved it. No, he didn't give a crap, dude. That guy didn't care about anything but money. He was the most greedy SOB that I've ever met, dude. And then he goes into church. And then he's in the church and he's like, he's on the board at the Calvary Church, dude. I mean, it's disgusting how people use God. But I digress. I asked I said back in 2020, I was connected, blah, blah, blah. This is everything I just told you. Says that actually rings a bell, but I don't think FDA water treatment product. Okay, so let's go scroll down because I narrowed down what it was. It was this stuff. It's however, self-repairing layer description makes me think of something. It's one of the organosilane antimicrobial coatings that were popular around that time. Okay. Now they didn't go anywhere, but what they're saying is that it was hard to prove with the claims that they were making on this stuff. But what they were using this was their industry in cattle ranching, spraying it in the water towers. They were doing water. Oh gosh, they were trying to get it put in all the water, dude. Now my point is this. Remember, yeah, nanotechnology coating. See right there. Let's look at this. I'm sure that this stuff was called BioShield. I'm pretty sure it was either BioShield or NanoShield. I don't know which. I think it was BioShield, dude. You gave me it. I tested it, burned my arm. Do you remember any of these details? Was the liquid clear and water-like? Did they describe it as nanotechnology coating? Did they say it bonded at the molecular? Yes, they did. That's exactly. I didn't understand that stuff. I didn't understand any of this tech at the time. Was the company based in Texas, Arizona, or the South? Yes, it was. Was the ranch operation connected to cattle genetics, feed, or agriculture chemicals? I have no idea. He said he was using it on all of his cattle stuff. Maybe that's why his beef tastes like crap, dude. Yes, definitely an organosilane. I think it was BioShield. Now, listen, guys, we're gonna push this out. They're monitoring. There's some jerk off on here that's the one person watching all of my stuff. We're gonna blast this out and get it out to everybody. I'm gonna send it to people. Make sure you share this because there's people that eat cattle in Arizona, and that's like this guy's in the Verde Valley. He's one of the big. He's one of the names, one of the big names listed on the private Arizona cattle registry. One of the ranches, right? There's like a list of like 10 or 15 cattle families in Arizona. He's one of them. It's terrible. BioShield 75 is what I remember it. I think that's what he was selling. I'm like 90% sure that that's what it is. But if you look into this, it's antimicrobial technology applied with ULV foggers and electrostatic sprayers. See, I had all of these. I had the electrostatic sprayers. I had the foggers. We used those when we cleaned air duct systems, HVAC. We would do the truck mount cleans on them. My company did that, and we used all of that. And they would have us come in and clean for COVID, decontaminate the house, do all of that stuff. And so, because I had all of that equipment, this stuff was like the next step. Go look into it. Because I'm telling you, if they were using this here, and this was 2020, and they were using nanotechnology here, they're putting this in the water now. I guarantee that they're putting something like this in the water. If they, here it is, dude. They got it down here. There needs to be some kind of oversight on this. Where's the Kennedys when you need them? They said the bigger issue is that the entire industry of long-lasting antimicrobial coatings ran into scrutiny after the COVID era because many companies were making aggressive claims like this guy. That's what he was saying. Oh, it's just, he said, I spray it on my toast in the morning. I, I don't even wipe my butt anymore. I just spray it on my crack, and I'm clean all day long. It's nanotechnology. It's the next wave. It's the newest invention. Newest invention, Douglas. EPA started paying much closer attention to residual antimicrobial products and marketing claims. Okay, so BioShield 75 was marketed as non-leaching. Yeah, they showed the video of it. So they would spray it on a surface, and then they would like do a deep gouge on the surface, right? And the thing grows back. That was in their thing back in 2020. I didn't know what that stuff was. All I know is the Lord pulled the plug on it, put a hard no on it. I sprayed a little bit on my arm. It made my arm burn, and it's nanotechnology. Now here's the real kicker, guys. Check this out. What regulators? EPA registration is not the same thing as saying a product is harmless. It means EPA determined that when used according to the label, the risks were acceptable relative to intended use. That's true of many disinfectants and pesticides. The label itself included precautions such as avoiding unnecessary exposure before dying. Could this be what they're spraying from these drones and stuff? Is something like this? Testing fabrics for staining, trying to kill whatever's in the air. What could this be? What are the applications of this? Well, this guy wanted to put it in your water, Phoenix, Arizona. This guy, Joe Saginski. He wants you to drink it. It's okay because he makes money on it, scumbag. When you probably stopped hearing about it, a few likely reasons. Okay, blah 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 blah. I didn't stop. I just backed out of the deal. I was like, no good for me. I don't want to be a part of it. Something screwy about this. And the guy was a snake. He had, like I said, he had the other guy. The other guy's name was Major, and he was a nice guy. And he trusted him. And you could even see that Major guy was conflicted, dude, with this stuff. When I brought this in, I said it burned my skin. That guy was, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see. See, what really needs to happen is that people like this need to be held accountable. Joe Saginski, JMB Sales, right? We got people like this. I didn't even know what was going on in this, right? I didn't know. I had no idea what this was going to do to people. This was like 2020. I blew the whistle on the asbestos up in Pine Top. There's people who were complicit in the cover up. And I know there's people watching my content going over it. There's a bunch of people watching those videos now. So that means something's going on behind the scenes, because the only people that watch my videos are people that are in the know, like this douchebag. And somebody's got mesothelioma. They blew the whistle on that. And that other judge, I got to get the name of the other judge, but they threw out the case too, and they knew everything. They knew that I was stuck outside the country, that I couldn't show up to the court, that I needed to update the docket, go in as a whistleblower status, right? But people like that, like up there in Pine Top, and this guy, right, spraying stuff in people's water, like didn't give a crap about anything but the bottom dollar. That's what this guy, Joe Saginski, was selling rancid cow meat, a stupid belt buckle. I mean, the guy is awful, dude. He's an awful, awful, awful person. If you met the guy, you would agree with me. Spraying nanotechnology, and all he cared about was getting approval from the EPA so that he could put it in your water, dude, and get that government contract. Here it is. They said that this is the last part. I thought that was over, but I want to show you this because this is what I was looking at. This is what I was looking for. BioShield 75 and similar organosilane coatings were based on molecules that form an extremely thin layer on surface on the nanometer scale. Okay, now it says right here. Hold on. Where is it at? You hear these guys outside? It says they're using it on restaurants and food service areas. They're still doing it. Safe for certain food contact surface applications. And they wanted to add this to the water system every 3 months or so, or apply it to the water system somehow. So either like shut off the water and then spray into the water pipes or whatever. And I don't know how what their intended application was for it, but they wanted to do this, and it lasts for 3 to 6 months. The EPA said you're okay. EPA registered label. So they didn't say it's safe. They just said it's safe enough. Is what the EPA said. Okay. Oh, there's a rabbit hole. Go down the rabbit hole. Is there anything else you want me to cover? You said something about Pete Hegseth. I don't know. All right, that's it. I'm gonna sign off. Joe Saginski, trader to Americans for $1. God bless you guys.